Today I'm going to be doing some still life photography, but with a difference, because we're going to be creating light trails. Greetings all! Today we're going to be doing a little bit about still life photography, but with light trails. Normally when you think of light trails, you automatically think of being outside with moving traffic when it's dark and you get the car headlights, and it's really nice and effective. But what happens if the day is bad outside weather-wise and you just don't fancy going out and getting wet? Well, you can do light trails at home. So yes, I've annoyed the wife because I've totally rearranged the front room to set this all up. Okay, so what are you going to need? Now, some of the things are optional. Some of the things I'm actually going to use today, but some of the things, the equipment could be beneficial for you, so they are optional. But the things you're obviously going to need is your camera, a tripod, your still life object, and a torch. That is obviously the must. Optional things: shutter release for the camera. I'm just going to use the inbuilt timer, and a black backdrop card or a black duvet cover or something like that, just to have. You don't actually need that. I have done videos where you can actually shoot objects without having a black backdrop. If I remember, I'll leave a link above or below. Okay, light trail technique is pretty simple to do. The settings are not ones that I can say use these settings, because they are going to change and alter depending on the lighting in your house at the time. I'll try and give you a good guide on what to change if you're over or underexposed. So, you know, you're just gonna have to, it's one of those ones where it's a bit of trial and error. First thing to do is, obviously with the setup, is make sure your room's fully lit, because you ain't gonna want to fall over or trip over or anything. The setup is quite simple. A few little rules obviously to follow. Between your still life object that you're going to use and your backdrop, make sure that there is a gap, because obviously you're going to be moving the torch behind, and the same in front. So set your camera up. As we have here, the lower down, obviously the better it's going to be. You want to shoot pretty much, you know. Set your composition however that you want it. I'm actually using one of my older cameras, the 350D here, lovely little workhorse. Very old, but still very good. And I've set it because I want the EOS digital on display there. And that's pretty much how I've set that one up. Okay, we're going to be shooting this in manual exposure. If you're going to follow along and do this, I really urge you to do this in manual exposure. And that will go for everything. Don't put it in auto ISO. You're going to have to control this one yourselves, because this is one of the settings you're going to need to change depending on how light or dark it is. The same with the aperture and the same with your shutter speed. Keep them all on manual. Don't be scared of using manual. It is really simple. Okay, so to start off with, what we're going to do is we are going to set the camera up to ISO 100, f8, 8-second shutter speed. Remember how I said everything's going to be manual? Even the focusing is going to be manual. So basically what we need to do is put your camera into live mode, digitally zoom into the object, make sure your lens or your camera is on manual focus. You will focus so it's nice and sharp, and then you zoom back out. Leave it on manual focus, and obviously you're using a tripod, turn image stabilization off. Okay, now I'm going to be using the inbuilt timer, just a 2-second timer, so when you press the button, it's just going to give chance for the camera to stop moving before it starts to take the capture. Not only that, gives you a good indication of when to start moving your flashlight around. you go, guys. I know that one may seem a little bit technical, but actually it's not. And the principle of this one is to get you used to using manual mode. And the idea with doing everything fully manual yourself is really important. And even though that 90% of the photography that people do, they don't even use manual mode. They'll either use aperture priority or shutter priority. But the thing is that other 10% is used for manipulating the photographs. And the only way that you can manipulate photographs is to use full manual mode. So it's real good practice to get into. If I remember rightly, I did one, I think it was a year or so ago now, and it was called Playing with Fire, and it was using basically the same principle. It's light trails. Only with this one, it was still life, so you've got obviously an object that you're doing it around, and it does look really effective. So I do say I could have a good go with that one, and let me know in the comments how it went. So until the next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.